8 awards were presented to winners aged from 13 to 19 years at a special event held on Tuesday 19th at Hotel Woodstock in Ennis in recognition of the young people's bravery, determination and positive impact. They were awarded with Garda Youth Awards. This year's event celebrated an impressive cross-section of young people and youth-led initiatives across the county. To find out more, I'm joined on the line by the sponsor of the awards, Shannon Airport's Director Niall Kearns. Niall, you're very welcome to the programme this morning.
Good morning, Dara.
Niall, how are you keeping?
Good, thank you, and good morning to all your listeners.
Well, Niall, you're not just saying good morning to me and all our listeners, because I'm delighted to say that we're joined by a very inspiring crowd in the studio this morning. Studio 2 here, suddenly after filling up. We've 3 of the winners of the Garda Youth Awards that we'll be getting to in just a moment. But as sponsor of the Clare Garda Youth Awards, Niall, what stood out to you most about this year's bunch?
Well, look, I think it's just a fantastic achievement from all of the award winners, and it was a fantastic mix of both group award winners and individuals who had done remarkable things in their life so far, and I know will continue to do so going forward. And we, as the Shannon Airport Group, are extremely proud to be associated with this awards and in partnership with the Gardaí. And you know, it's really on occasions like the award ceremony that we had, that you really getting to meet not just the award winners, but also the family and friends and coaches and mentors and everybody who have all played huge roles in that, and seeing how proud they were of all the award winners was just fantastic to see.
Yeah, Niall, what message would you hope that awards like these send to young people across Clare, and maybe even older people that could learn a thing or two from them?
Well, I suppose, you know, we absolutely can all learn in relation to it. I suppose there was a quote we mentioned during the day, that the measure of who you are is what you do with what you have. And I think all of these award winners took an opportunity to do something, to overcome a situation, to create something, to teach people, to help someone else. And I think there's a lesson in that for all of us. You know, sometimes it's the quiet things that happen, that people do, that you know, goes unnoticed, and that's the real benefit of this award, Garda Youth Awards, is that we're recognising these fantastic achievements that these award winners did, and really just acknowledging them in a public way, and acknowledging them not just for themselves but also for their families and friends and mentors and coaches, as I said before, and teachers as well, a huge role.
Well, do you know what, Niall? I think it's about time that we heard from some of the winners themselves. And we're joined in studio by Caoimhe Moroney, Sarah Bermingham and Lexi Reidy. Caoimhe, we're going to go to you first. You won your award for rescuing an elderly man from the water at Bishop's Quarter Beach. Could you take us back to that day and just tell us how the events unfolded?
Yeah, well,
Right, yeah. Into that one, please, Caoimhe.
I suppose it was only lucky we were there at the beach, and then it was the 11th or 12th of July in Bishop's Quarter Beach during the summer last year, and we were kind of getting ready to go, and then we kind of looked out and we seen this man, and he was shouting, and I said to my mum, I said, like, is he actually in trouble, or is he just like shouting because of the cold? And anyway, he said, oh well, I'll just go out and I'll see. And we had the boards from Clare Surf Lifesaving, because we had trading earlier that morning in White Strand, and kind of just went out and like gave him the board and said, yeah, just like kept talking to him and was like, you'll be fine, and just gave him the board and he got his balance then.
So you're a confident swimmer and surfer anyway?
Yeah, something like that anyway.
Have you ever encountered a situation like that before? Like, do you regularly see people getting into difficulty in the water?
Not really, but it would be common enough in Lahinch. Like, one of my friends, their dad is a surf instructor in Lahinch, and he'd be at it the whole time. Like, it's common enough to happen. But we've been taught, like, we were doing water safety since we were like 7 or 8 in White Strand, and it's just like teaching you what to do in them situations, and it's really important that younger kids learn what to do, and that people know how to swim and how to help someone if they're in that position, like an ordinary person.
Yeah, and did your instincts just kick in there? Because you mentioned that, you know, you said to your mum, do you think that guy's really in trouble? And once she affirmed that for you, it sounds like you wasted no time in getting out there with your board.
Yeah, I suppose, I don't know, I just went for it and said whatever, you've nothing to lose really.
And from there, what happened? How did, I suppose, you lead on to the Garda Youth Awards? How did you start to get a bit of attention, if that's the right word for this?
Yeah, well, I suppose we couldn't really believe it when it happened, and then Mum kind of said it to our surf life coach Gareth, and he said it to Claire McGrath, and then it went to water safety, and then it all kind of went up from there, I'd say.
And I know you mentioned it already, Caoimhe, about the importance of young people learning how to swim. And I'll tell you this personally from somebody that's terrified to go into any natural body of water, because I'm not a very confident swimmer myself. What message would you give to young people that maybe could do with improving a little, or might even be a bit passive about getting into the swimming pool for the first time?
Yeah, it's really important to know how to swim and know what to do if you're in trouble. And there's a lot of courses available for people of any age to learn how to swim and water safety and all that. And it's really important, parents as well of younger kids, to get them into it as young as possible. Because I've made friends for life out of swimming and surf life. The community that's there, you get on with them so well when you have a common interest.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and certainly I just know how tight-knit that coastal surfing community is at all ages. But we'll come back to that in a moment, because also in studio we have Sarah Bermingham and Lexi Reidy. Sarah Bermingham from St. Caimhine's in Shannon, and Lexi Reidy from St. Patrick's Comprehensive. Now, you both established an anti-vaping campaign called Escape the Vape. Could you tell us how that came to be?
Well, first I'd like to mention the overall initiative of this campaign. The Tusla and South Clare Child and Family Support Network were a working group who were launching the campaign, and the two chaplains, Miss Gannan and Miss Torby from both St. Caimhine's and St. Patrick's Comprehensive in Shannon, were on the working group, and we were brought on board as a youth group for this initiative. By spreading the awareness of vaping, we educated the younger students in primary school, and we promoted a poster competition with prizes for all age groups of primary and secondary school. We then conveyed the overall message of Escape the Vape and the side effects of vaping. And on some day in March, we attended the Oakwood in Shannon, and we had Professor Bobby Smith in to talk with parents within the evening of the side effects of vaping and how they should spread their awareness to their kids. And we done a few what was this?
You spread a bit of awareness anyways, yeah. And we'll just clarify that was Lexi giving us the background. But I suppose, girls, and I'll go to Sarah for this one. What did it mean to you? Because like vapes, look, you can look at any teenagers nowadays, any brand of young people. Look, they're becoming increasingly popular. Cigarettes was the contraband that you probably shouldn't have used even before my time going to school. When I started in secondary school, that's when I suppose vapes, what you call e-cigarettes, really became a thing, and we don't really know the dangers of them. We're still finding out a lot. So was there anything personal in this for you? Did you feel like this is important that we follow up on this?
I felt like it was very important to follow up on this, because a lot of people in my year have vaped, and a lot of people still do it regular basis. Now in primary we wouldn't have really gotten into it, but when I came into secondary school last year, I could see a huge difference. Nearly 3/4 of my year, it seemed like, were doing it, and in the bathroom you would walk in and people were doing it, you would walk outside, people my age were doing it. Everywhere I just looked, there was a vape in someone's hand.
And you're in two different schools in Shannon as well, and famously there's usually a good rivalry between Caimhine's and the Comps. So how did you collaborate on this?
Well, both our chaplains from our schools were in the working group for this campaign, and I know in our school Miss Torpy came around and asked a really weird question: who vapes? And we were all confused. We were like, why are our teachers asking us who vapes? But then we came to the conclusion that we were going to be part of this campaign, Escape the Vape, and spread awareness to all the young children in Shannon.
And I hope you're grateful for Miss Torpy doing that, because now you both have a Garda Youth Award to your names. How did the process of the Garda Youth Awards come about? How did it lead from the Escape the Vape poster competition to the Garda Youth Awards?
Our school chaplains, Miss Torpy and Miss Gannan, nominated us, and when we found out that we won, Miss Gannan approached me and the other guy, Daniel, working with me on this project in Caymans, and she said we got nominated for a Garda Youth Award, and we were very happy and proud of our work, and that it's like getting noticed and it's really coming up and becoming a really huge topic.
Super. And Caoimhe, we'll come back to you for a moment. You looked like you were frozen out there. So you had your awards night on Tuesday at Hotel Woodstock. So I assume everybody in this room has already met. This isn't your first time coming together. What was it like meeting all the other young people from Clare that had got a Garda Youth Award? I suppose to have that sense of achievement together and know that your efforts were recognised.
Yeah, I suppose it was like really interesting to see what other people had done and to see the other like accomplishments that young people had made in around Clare in the surrounding areas.
Yeah, of course. And I suppose, was there anything maybe that away from your own maybe that really stood out to you?
I really liked their campaign about the Escape the Vape because it's a very big problem in every school now, I'd say. Most schools, even my own school, most people in the year would be doing it. Like, it's become very common.
Sarah and Lexi, this is your opportunity now to give a compliment back to Caoimhe. What did you learn about water safety?
Well, I actually was inspired by her bravery to jump out into the water and save someone's life, because I definitely would not have done it myself. I would have probably walked away, and I know that sounds terrible, but I learned the importance of being able to swim and being able to know what to do in a situation like Caoimhe had to approach, and she saved someone's life. Like, that is beyond amazing.
Yeah, Sarah, are you a confident swimmer? Do you think you'll take it up now?
Probably not. I'll leave that to Caoimhe, probably.
Caoimhe, how if people just look at the water and know that it's daunting, and look, every now and then you do hear a very sad story, how do you get over that? Or in your experience, how do maybe young kids or even older adults get over their fear of the water?
Yeah, I suppose we never really thought about it. Like, if you were to think about it too much, you'd never get in. So I just kind of keep going and hope for the best.
Okay. And I'll ask you one final thing each. I suppose, Sarah, I'll start with yourself. What's the one thing you learned now about escaping the vape that you didn't know before this process started that maybe you think is important to share?
I learned like the impacts more on a deeper level and in detail. Like, we all knew that vaping was bad for your lungs, but we didn't know how it affected. And I also learned that it doesn't just affect your lungs, but it also affects your mental health, and it can increase anxiety levels, which I've like found shocking, and I feel like people badly need to know that, especially in their teenage years.
Oh God, you just said the word anxiety, and now I'm reminded that the junior cert and leaving cert exams are coming up. Do any of you have that to do?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
The junior search, yes, that's not too bad.
You'll be alright. You're after saving somebody's life now. You'll be fine. The junior cert isn't that bad, I promise you. It's not as hard as that. Lexi, what did you learn about the vapes?
I learned that it could lead to psychosis, which was crazy, because I thought it would affect your lungs. I also didn't realise how many young people have started doing it, like as young as 5th class, which is crazy to me, because I remember when I was in 5th class all them years ago, I don't think any of us vaped at all until you come into secondary school. Secondary school definitely does have an impact on vaping, and I think being around other people promotes, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, it's cool to vape, but it definitely isn't. It's probably one of the worst things you could start up because it's so addicting.
Caoimhe, anything to add on that? Do you even just... I think you've nailed the water safety, Caoimhe, so is there any advice you want to give our listeners at all about anything?
Just any parents of young kids, make sure they learn how to swim, because it's a really important skill to have for life.
Yeah, I think we can all certainly agree on that. Well, that's Sarah Bermingham from St. Caiman's, Lexi Reidy from St. Patrick's Comprehensive, and Caoimhe Moroney from Kilfenora, who all won Garda Youth Awards this week in Hotel Woodstock.